day of practice. Just kind of, where's your brain at? How are things looking?
Good. We got. I'm not the one to usually be satisfied with things like that, but good. Way better than this time last year. Just a lot more faith and confidence in what they're doing, which allows you to play faster. So I like that part of it.
We heard that from Coach Brady yesterday as well, just kind of being a step ahead of where you were this time last year. What's kind of the minutia of that to you?
I mean, you've got some leaders, you got some vets. They kind of push the pace and drive the younger guys to kind of match their level. We challenge those leaders. Hey, you can either hang out up at your level or you can drag those guys up with you. And we've asked them to do that. It's a lot easier to play faster when you're confident in what you're doing and what you know. When you can play faster, you can play more violently. That's kind of what we're looking at during this camp.
What about Coach? What about having Kavanaugh back on the field with you guys here?
I mean, you guys have known him for a long time. He's awesome. He's really honest. He's crystal clear with me about what he likes and what he doesn't like. Life is simple with him. He makes it abundantly clear. I don't want to do that. I do want to do this. I think he's got a good, simple plan that our guys can execute. It's been smooth. But when you know somebody, you have a relationship like that, you can work like that, and you can have those pretty honest conversations.
Can you talk quarterback room for us? What you think of the group?
I really like the room. You got different types of guys. Obviously, some experience with Malik, big body that can really throw it around. I think the other three guys have athletic ability that is fun. I think we're going to need everybody that can help us on offense this season. But I think the intelligence in the room is much higher than it was last year, just in the system, the trust in the system. I'm really happy with where we are, and not just adding a couple players here and there, but also adding Langs back into the picture is a huge help for me. He can kind of get a feel for some guys how they learn. I don't know if he got that. Let's try it another way. He's just really helpful for me to have another set of eyes and another kind of opinion on things through the quarterback lens.
Speaking of the younger guys in there, I know Tristan joins the room. Can you speak on how much of a benefit it is to have another arm in there compared to spring? And then sort of how's he looked the first couple of days? I know it's only 2 days fall camp, but how quickly has he been picking things up?
Yeah, usually with freshmen, there's a couple storylines that it usually tracks on. And Tristan is extremely smart. And he works really hard. That's a great combination. You add that to talent, you're talking special. I think he has the ability to be special. He's going to be really good early on. There's always a point with these guys where there's a lot of stuff on their plate, a lot of plays, more than they've been used to, more defensive looks. Things get more exotic and more challenging. So we've got to try to keep him, kind of keep your head above water in a sense as we go. But super impressed by him so far.
We talked yesterday about communication within the system being the key for him. Where do you see him? Is he 100% there, or is there still some room to grow this fall communicating in this offense?
Yeah, I think he knows the plays. He can draw you the plays. There's a communication piece where it's not just being able to talk it, it's being able to talk the same language. When I say something, we've got to be on the same wavelength, because I might say loose, and that means something in our offense, but he's got to, instead of saying loose, he can't say something other than that. He needs to speak the language with me, and he's getting there. He needs to be better tomorrow than he is today, but that's kind of just part of development that we're into here. But he works like crazy. The communication piece is not just a thing with Malik, it's a thing with everybody in the offense. It's critical to what we do. There's more plays that are ruined by lack of communication or poor communication than by poor scheme. So we don't want to let something as easy as communicating loudly, clearly, hold us back from where we want to go.
Where do you see this offense, making the biggest strides this year over last? Just, big playability is one that people talk about.
We need to create explosives. It's better to score in 2 plays than 13 plays. We had a lot of 13-play drives. The longer you have the ball, the longer you possess it, the more chances you have for some type of negative play, whether it be a fumble, an interception. We hope those things don't happen. A penalty, just anything that can be negative towards an offense, the longer you're out there, the higher the chances that that happens. So we need to be more explosive. I think our receivers have gotten better than they were last year. I think we are better throwers than we were last year. So am I optimistic about that? Yes. I think everywhere in the offense, talent-wise and understanding of what we're doing, we're better. So I think we can get that going.
How about the explosiveness at running back this season?
Yeah, I'm super happy. Obviously, Hank is Hank. You want to talk about a leader by example with his word, with just the way he prepares himself. He's fantastic. But there's some other guys in that room that I think can really help us. Obviously, you guys saw some of Sala last year. Marquise is a guy who ran for nearly 1,100 yards, I think, his freshman year at La Tech. So there's guys in there that can do it. I think Corday Glass broke a couple runs today that I was super excited about. So there's certainly bodies in there that can be the home run hitters that we need.
One of those receivers, being Clemons, obviously last year with this, injuries and whatnot. How have you seen him now? Does he look, healthy? There's a lot of potential with him last year. How do you see him developing?
Yeah, I think first things first with Darrius is just health. He looks great out there right now. He knows what he's doing. He's a big body, and him and Malik have a really good relationship. So we need to keep fostering that and working on it and giving them chances in practice to get that going. There's got to be a real trust between the two of them to push the ball vertically and see what happens. But that's the same thing with all of them.
What do you think of the level of work that guys put in terms of throwing in the offseason? He was talking about 6 days a week.
Yeah, I told it, we need to turn that down a little bit. We're in a developmental phase, which we need to throw. It's important for them to work that timing. But those guys he's not running like they are. They have hamstrings, and those hamstrings can pull, and we do not want that to happen.
Right. So
6 days a week is a lot. If you want to throw 6 days a week, I'm okay with that, but I don't want them running 6 days a week. I'm telling you, these guys are junkies. They are here all the time. You have to pull them back, I'd rather have it that way than the other way.
When you kind of look in, going into this year two for you as a play caller and, getting to run your own offense, where do you feel like you've evolved the most as in kind of that leadership and play caller role as an OC?
I think you just kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, what works for me, what works for our players. You kind of get more and more comfortable of where do I need to develop myself in terms of game planning or just my call sheet or the flow of the game or where are we deficient in our operation. It's everything. There's not one part that I don't think we haven't tried to work on and make better. But these games, for the most part, should call themselves from the work that you put in during the week. And that work, I think, is a lot of, you don't really see that on game day. It's like he's just up there calling plays. Well, we've spent a ton of time figuring out what those calls are. Obviously, 4 new coaches on offense, and it's not just me. I'm not just a dictator up there and say, this is what we're doing, slide in the sheet and say, get it done. It's collaborative, and we're all I've got a lot of guys who have called plays in there. I got a lot of guys with really good opinions, and it's a really fun, collaborative environment to work in.
When you've got a guy like Malik that the locker room can look at as a guy who's done it, who's had success at this level, does that just raise the confidence level of the entire room, knowing we've got a guy that we can hitch our leg into?
I mean, you're going to have to ask those guys, Darrius and those guys. But, there's no substitute for experience. You need to get it at some point. There's no substitute for the statistics that he's put up. What he did last year at Duke is impressive. The way he works is impressive. I think that certainly seems like it would give confidence to the locker room, offense and defense. That's not just a one-sided deal either.
What a lot of new faces in the tight end room as well. Just how do you evaluate that group, and are you seeing guys that could provide different things, whether it be blocking or going out to catch? How do you evaluate what guys are fitting in right now?
There's a lot of different spices in the cabinet. You've got different body types, different athletic abilities, but guys that I think we're going to have to get on the field. There's probably 4 of them that need to be on the field. Now, there's also a lot of receivers that we need on the field. We got a lot of running backs, so that's up to us on kind of rotating guys through and keeping them fresh, keeping them ready as the year goes on. But I think Bryce has played a lot of football here. Riley played some at Miami, and then you've got a couple guys who have been injured or we haven't been as available in the past that we need to get in there. It's a deep room. There's a lot of numbers. I like them a lot. I think we can. They'll be a really big asset for us this year.
Similarly with the offensive line, how's that group shaking out for you? A lot of starters to replace with a lot of injuries last year as well.
Yeah, injuries, spring ball injuries. We didn't really get a very good look at what that group looks like during the spring. We're still getting some guys, working into the lineup. Optimistic about where that group is going. Again, really good leadership. I think when you can get your center back in there, kind of the guy that's directing the show, that's really comforting for me and for Coach Kavanaugh, guy that's played a lot of football in Bam Wells. And then, there's some pieces that were injured last year that are already back, and I feel good about it. I think we've got good depth, but, you always feel better about it when they're all out there at the same time. So until then, we're developing guys, and guys are going to get better for it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Just kind of coming back, how have things been so far?
It's been good. I think everybody's kind of antsy to get going around practice. So the first 2 days are always good, but I think it's always interesting to see who has the same mindset day 11, day 12, day 17.
How excited are you to be back, be healthy, and just contributing in the way that you have been in the fall?
Super excited. I feel blessed, healthy this time around. Just excited to help the team win, be available, and just do what I can to help us win games.
What's that connection like at this point with you and Malik? How do you feel like it's growing at this point?
I feel like it's really grown. In the spring, it was kind of just like a rep thing. We had done the reps. I think this summer, with the time we spent together and the work we put in, we grew. We're better friends now. I could say he's one of my better friends on this team in life. So really happy to have him around. He's a great presence in the locker room, great teammate, and above all else, great guy to be around.
What do you think of the potential for this offense? Because I feel like a lot of the receivers, especially, have developed a lot over last year, and then you bring in a guy like Malik, you've got Hank at running back. How do you look at it overall?
I feel like I'd be doing us a disservice if I told you. You know what I mean? I want to put a cap on it. I think it could be real special though.
Coach Gundy was just talking about the work you guys did in the off season, and almost sounded like he wanted you to dial it back a little bit, like overdoing it. Did he have that conversation with you?
Yeah,
About overdoing the off field stuff.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. Obviously, Malik being a quarterback, kind of on a pitch count, so like a pitcher in baseball. Then receivers, you run a lot on top of the work we do in the weight room with Coach Candido and stuff like that. So with the extra route running and stuff, we kind of had to find a happy medium. Because you can always do more, but you can always do less. You don't want to carry nicks and bruises in the fall camp. Just stay healthy while getting better at the same time.
Last season, the offense relied a lot on the run game. I mean, you had your health issues then, but how excited does it make you for the team just to have the capacity to use the passing game more, and then for you just personally to be healthy and be a part of that?
Obviously, having a run game like we did last year is never going to hurt the pass game. So I think we block our butts off in the run game, and then when the ball comes our way, we just expect to make plays.
What's the receiver room kind of look like right now? How have those guys all come along as a group? Some of the younger guys who saw play time, or maybe the ones who didn't. Anyone catch your eye so far?
I think all the young guys have improved from last year. I think there's kind of 2 groups. There's guys that played last year and there's guys that didn't. I think out of the guys that played last year, we all look at ourselves as number 1 receivers, and we know the guy beside us, they view it the same way. The guys that didn't play last year, they want to be the number 1 receiver. So they're kind of pushing and pushing to get better and be in that role. So I think they're all getting better. The whole receiver room's getting better. So I think we have a bunch of guys that are capable to going out there on the field and making plays.
For you on a personal level, is it like a chip on your shoulder with how last year went at this point, or what's your sort of mindset as we get closer?
I don't know if I'd call it a chip on my shoulder, but I think the injuries I dealt with last season, they make me look at this with a different light. Every day I go on the field, I don't take it for granted, because there was games last year I standing on the sideline, I felt helpless, I couldn't do anything, couldn't help the team win. It's not because I wanted to be out there, I just wanted to be playing football. I love football, I love my teammates, you know what I mean? So I think every day I go out there and practice, if I ever find myself moping around, I'm tired, I hurt, it's this is nowhere near how I felt last year, you know?
With it about a year in the rear view now, what was it you were working through most of that early goings of last season?
It was really just like a bunch of things. Like I had something in the spring ball that I was working through that was from like the season before. So I got back from that. Then the camp I got nicked up. Then I came back from the one camp. Then like the week of the first game I got nicked up again. So it was just like it was just like hurdles and hurdles. I felt like, but I think I'm a better man for it. I think I've grown to help me. Like honestly, I really do feel that way.
Can you speak about that a little bit more? What did that kind of working through that process, kind of teach you as a football player?
I mean, like getting injured, especially like the week of a first game of a season you're excited about. Like, I know I felt sorry for myself for like a couple hours. I was like in tears in Coach Bray's office. Like it was really hard to go through. But then like Coach Bray and other guys, they could look at me like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be out for a couple of weeks. You can sit here and have a bad attitude about it, or you can like commit your time doing something else. So I think I kind of like took that time like for game plan stuff, help other guys go over the plays. I was roommates with Trent for away games. Like we're in the hotel, I'm quizzing him on plays, like on the sideline, like tapping guys in the butt, whatever else. Like there's plays last year that people come to the sideline. I'm just excited for them to be out there, even though I'm not. Just putting my focus and energy elsewhere instead of it being a negative spot, you know.
You had the best game of your career last year in the final game against Boise State. Did you feel like that game just everything came together and you demonstrated this is what I can be at this level when healthy and when the opportunity's there?
No, I 100% feel that way. I expect to play at that level every opportunity I get this season.
And just piggybacking off of that question there, what have you been working on this offseason to kind of have more consistent performances like that moving forward?
I wouldn't say there's anything I haven't been working on. Like anything anybody says and I think I could get better at, like I dive into it. If anybody, my teammates, coaches, anyone, like I just try to bring my whole game up to another notch.
All right, anything else? Thanks, Darrius.
Yeah, thank you.
This is your second season here, season injury bug across the team, but you specifically as well. What seems like you're healthy now. What's it been like ramping back up for fall? What are you expecting this year?
Yeah, I just actually took the time just to actually heal my injuries, heal my wounds, because I normally like to rush them so I can get back to playing football, whether it's spring ball or fall camp or anything. Like I just want to play football, so I don't want to be out. But it was a long process, but I think it's a process that I needed to go through just to rise, like to help my overall game and performance this year. So it was good.
Is there any frustration with through spring and now even maybe a little bit into fall camp, just not being able to get the core group of experienced linemen all on the field at the same time? Are you starting to feel like maybe it's time to get everybody together?
Yeah, it is a little bit of frustration that you see. Just you got guys hurt that you expect to play, but at the same time, it's also time to get everybody else in the room up to speed. The more people we have that can play winning football on Saturdays, the better team we'll be for real. So it's really a next man up mentality, and hopefully we get those guys back and get them back on the same page they was at too. So that's how it is really.
I don't think you walked in the room yet, but Gundy was gassing you up about how good it is to have a healthy center back. I'm curious, what's that like for you, and just kind of how you consider
I
it?
haven't felt this good in a long time. My body feels amazing, and I'm just ready to put it all out there on the field just to show what I can do when I'm healthy.
You called center really the most important position on the line. I'm curious your perspective and take on that, and what playing center kind of means to you.
Yeah, playing center. Those that didn't know this for real, but I started off playing tight end, so I didn't even like playing center at first. But then I got used to it, and like, thing about O-line is just like you need everybody. So it's like you can't just depend on, I did my job, and somebody else didn't do their job, the whole play messed up. So you need everybody to be on one page and the brotherhood that bonds together. So it's real important, like, your center is the main guy. He's basically the quarterback of the offensive line. And how we do things here, I basically call out everything basically so for everybody else to see. So if you need like a smart center if you want to be in this offense for real.
This is your third year in a row with a new offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
What does Coach Kavanaugh bring to that room?
Coach Cav, he's one of a kind. I mean, he's all about toughness and technique. Every day we drilling technique, we building our mental toughness, physical toughness. We all about just putting a product on the field that's violent, sound, and ready to hit somebody for real. So we gonna protect and run the ball. That's what we just gonna dominate in every fashion of the game. That's what he teaches us, and that's what we strive for.
You're going to be facing some really big physical D-lines this season that you may have not seen before. What are some things you're working on in fall camp personally, and then just as a room as a whole to get ready for that and get ready for the physicality of the schedule you guys have?
Again, toughness and technique. We don't treat anybody no different because we know the work that we put in and what we do. So as long as we do our job, there's nothing nobody else can do to stop us.
Center and quarterback obviously have a very close relationship. You and Malik, how's that coming
Yeah,
along?
Malik, my dude, he's funny. He's a character for real. I don't know if y'all probably met him a bunch of times by now, but he's a character. He's a great guy, great leader. He's just all around good teammate for real, and he know how to throw the ball. So that's amazing.
You said yesterday he's been bowling a lot. You bowl at all with him? Or?
Yeah, we did bowl. I beat him though.
Okay.
But we did bowl. He a good bowler too though. He'll do some crazy stuff with the ball, like just bowl regular, like you doing too much.
All right, anything else? Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.